Hey, Theo here. This video shows end-to-end building of the tileable pattern for the most compact cactus farm that I'm aware of, which only needs about 70% as much space as the widely recommended space design with water collection every layer. See my companion video in the description for more of the theory. I'll start by making an 8x8 spaced grid of sand on flat ground. Now, leaving a space around the perimeter, we encase it with blocks, so 17 on each side, or a 19 by 19 square with the corners missing. Filling in water along the diagonals, make an X of water sources. Normally we'd want to add some raised neighboring sources to prevent stagnant water, but we can leave these sources stagnant because they end up being covered by slabs, so that drops basically never fall in them, as I mentioned in my other video. Now then on each side I'll punch out the block that the water doesn't reach to start making collection chutes with fence. Chain would work here too. Okay, the water channeling is done. Here I build rows of slabs all the way across, which I'll call catwalks. Every other slab will eventually be punched out, but in addition to becoming support for the next layer of cactus, these give us a convenient way to complete the next lower layer. The final row that touches the case I only bother to fill in every other slab, since I'll never use it to walk on. For the bottom layer, there is nothing else to do except punch out every other slab and place the cactus. After that, we'll need to build up the casing with a crenellation, placing 2 blocks wherever there isn't an adjacent slab. That includes next to the chutes. Then we build more catwalks, alternating with the slabs below. During this is a fine time to build up the chute fences as well. With the catwalks done, I'll place sand below. For the last catwalk, I build up the casing with one row of blocks to give me a nice place to stand. And the bottom layer of cactus needs something to break its growth. We can pick between signs and open fence gates, but here I use signs, which are a little cheaper. I'll place these on the sand in every other gap, alternating every other row. This causes every cactus plant to grow next to exactly one sign and gives us the option to come back later and fill in the other gaps with vertical end rods like I show in my other video, which would increase the collection rate by about 3%, but I'll stick to showing just the fast and cheap option here. Don't forget the final single row. At this point, we're ready to punch out every other slab and place cactus. With the cactus done, I build up the casing to start the next layer. Again, casing first, then catwalks alternating below while building up chute fences, then sand, then signs, then cactus. When starting the catwalks, I take a moment to figure out which direction to build them to still have easy access to the gaps that already have signs. Although this only matters if you might want to put end rods in the other gaps. Okay, sand. Again, I check which gaps already have signs here. Also, we don't strictly need the signs I'm placing against the casing because the casing will already break growth for adjacent plants, but I am showing the pattern that can be tiled to make larger farms. And breaking the catwalks to place cactus. Another crenellation casing for the fourth and final cactus layer. This is exactly the same as the second layer of cactus. Check the catwalk direction to leave the sign gaps accessible. Remember to build chute fences up. Sand. Alternating signs, not forgetting the final row. Breaking catwalks to place cactus. Building the casing up by 2 to the final height of 10. Now we want to interrupt the cactus layers with a crowning layer to give a surface for another water channeling. On top of these slabs, we place 2 generic blocks, then place walls adjacent to the bottom of each of those. The top is filled in with slabs. The slabs are only needed to stack this whole deck pattern. You could leave them out at the very top of a farm. It is important that the walls connect to the blocks, so don't build with anything like melon, even though that is the password for getting into the Mines of Moria. Otherwise, we just finish this out. All right, this gives one 16 by 16 by 10 tile, plus the casing, and an extra row and column to fill the casing evenly. The tile can be repeated in any cardinal direction, re-encasing exactly the same way, and the whole can be stacked vertically. So for example, we can take a copy of this pattern and place the left side of it further left, then the forward side of that further forward, then stack the whole thing vertically a few times. And here we have a very nice large-scale farm. Okay, I'm not going to go into great detail about channeling the drops underneath the farm in this video, but for this small of a farm, it is pretty easy to show a decent and cheap approach. We start at the chute on one side and dig over until we reach the opposite chute. Channel the water out 8 blocks, which gives us the right depth to reach the side chutes. And then we channel each of those out to the middle, then one additional channel out to the front. I'll set up a chest and a hopper. And I'll close these off just to make sure no drops slide too far. Okay, thanks for joining. I hope this has been interesting and informative.